The 5 categories of typography fonts. Nowadays, there are many font types and there will undoubtedly be many more in the future. If you want to see the most relevant ones, Google Fonts allows you to see the 5 most important categories. You must be able to distinguish the difference that exists between them so that you can combine them in your projects. Most of the time, you will come across serif or sans serif typefaces. As a general rule, serif type is linked with little tails, while sans serif does not have those little tails. In fact, the word sans in French means without, so we can call that little tail serif. On the other hand, you have the typography fonts script or handwriting. These have an appearance as if they were created by hand. They have a lot of personality. Here I leave you the following image that I have created so that you can understand much better the differences between serif, sans serif and script. As you can see, serif is characterized by having these small tails. You can also notice that it has different thickness, being thicker in some places and thinner in others. On the other hand, sans serif doesn't have those small tails and the thickness tends to be the same. There are no thickness variations. Then we have a script, and as you can realize, it has the appearance of being handwritten. It is worth mentioning that they all have a different personality. For example, serif has a formal and sophisticated personality, but it's also trustworthy and traditional. Meanwhile, sans serif has a humanistic, clean, modern, and geometric personality. And a script has a formal, elegant, but stylish personality. It is sophisticated. Nevertheless, serif is such a large category that is worthy of having subcategories. Let's see some of them: modern, old style, and slab serif. As you can see in this picture, modern is characterized by having very radical and dramatic thickness changes. You will see these thickness changes vertically, and they also have a flat serif. Modern has a luxury personality. It transmits a lot of style. It is strong, progressive, but elegant. Old style. Old style is characterized by less dramatic and non-vertical thickness changes. You will usually see that those thickness changes are in a slanted way. Its serif is also slanted. Old style has a friendly personality, but it is also classic and neutral. And lastly, slab serif. Slab serif tends to be confused with modern, since its serif is flat, but so that you can differentiate it, pay attention to the changes in thickness. They are very minimal and sometimes there are no changes in thickness. Anyways, with this image you will be able to differentiate all of them pretty well. And slab serif has a friendly, solid, but strong personality. It's fashionable and contemporary. Now let's go with our other category. We also have display or decorative typefaces and monospace, but we don't use them much in web design. The personality of the display fonts is difficult and it will depend on where you use it. But if we had to put a personality, we could say that they are unique, friendly, fun, and expressive. Meanwhile, monospace is the category of fonts similar to those you will find in an old typewriter. These are characterized by occupying exactly the same space regardless of the character. On the other hand, monospace has a friendly and vintage personality. Again, you have this image in which you can observe the difference pretty well. Now that you know the different categories and can distinguish which category each typeface belongs to, you are ready to learn about the 3 types of relationships between typefaces. How to combine fonts in my design. There are 3 different ways you can relate your fonts, but there is one that you should avoid at all costs, at least if you want your design to look good. The first one is the conflict relationship. Conflict is not a nice word. Therefore, you can always assume that this is not the type of relationship that you want in your designs. Usually, you will create conflict in a design when you use 2 similar fonts. For example, using 2 fonts belonging to the sans serif category or 2 serifs. The problem with using similar fonts is that your users will see that little change and wonder if that was a mistake or if the font changed that way. Not to mention that you will not create contrast, so it will be more difficult for you to catch the attention of your users. Agreement or friendship relationship. This relationship sounds much nicer than a conflict relationship, don't you think? This relationship occurs when you choose a single type of font for your entire design. It helps you maintain harmony in the design easily. You will create a quiet, calm, and formal design. It's not a bad choice, it's quite conservative, and it works well. And finally, our third relationship, contrast relationship. This is my favorite kind of relationship, and you will understand in a second why. It tends to be fun and not so conservative. This relationship takes advantage of the principle of contrast. It helps you capture the attention of your users and it will captivate the eyes of your users. That's why I like it. How to get contrast? Well, easy. Using the third type of relationship. Using this relationship will create contrast by using different font types. You can, for example, combine sans serif with serif, or you can combine serif with a script. You can make the combinations that you want. Although you can combine sans serif with serif, or a script with serif, or sans serif, it is always a good idea to pay attention to the personality of the font and the personality you are looking for in the project you are working on. The personality of the font must be the same personality of your project. If not, it will look weird, okay? Anyways, typography is the field within design that can tend to be a little bit more difficult, at least at first. If you're not sure how to combine or relate your fonts, in the next section, I will teach you some tricks so you can combine your fonts as an experienced designer would. See you in the next lesson.